We are brought to you by TabTouch. Got the touch? Download the TabTouch app today. What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. This is the Hardball Gets AFL show. My name is Nick Reen, joined by Xavier Ellis and Ryan Daniels. Gentlemen, what's going on?
Just when we thought you couldn't do less. Just when we thought he was the most ill-prepared, turning up late, doing no research. We all noticed today in the WhatsApp group, because you divvy up the teams.
I do the teams,
You divvy up the teams. You always give me the shit teams and Dave the shit teams, and you give yourself the good teams.
I do 1, 2, 3 from the top.
But this time it looked different. And we all paused for a moment. And I just said to you, I've got all the shit teams. And you said, well, I didn't do it to you. ChatGPT
did it to you.
So you've gotten so lazy now that you can't
I need to interject here.
What?
You said you've got all the shit teams.
Yeah.
You have 4 top 8 sides.
Yeah, but
you have
they're
4 of
shit
them.
ones.
Brisbane, Gold Coast, Adelaide, and the Giants.
Yeah, but some of those games was shit.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you don't have to go into the game. You just broaden the horizon.
So you think you got the shit teams?
I think I've got a couple of shit ones.
I thought Dave
I've got West Coast and North.
Look, I didn't get those shit teams. I just got the teams where there's nothing exciting to talk about.
So you guys give shit, because every time I normally go 1, 2, 3 from the top. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
It's up.
But I just said,
randomised. So what was it? Was it just that you just too much work for you?
No, I just wanted to change it up.
To be honest with you,
After the post-buy.
I don't understand how that chat GTP, is that the right one? GPT. I've never used it.
Yeah.
But I admire those that do. It just epitomises laziness.
It does. I was shocked yesterday.
It's efficiency.
My wife Kelly is one of the most organised people you'll ever meet, right? And she's a by the book, like follows the letter of the law. And she's doing some stuff for school. She's prepping like class plans and stuff like that.
Right.
So she writes them out, and then she goes, "Oh, and I just used AI to tidy it up."
Yeah.
I was like, "Hold on a minute. This is supposed to be. Isn't there a moral high ground here?"
Yeah, AI is often used as, when you go to a hairdresser and it's shit, and then you go to the second hairdresser for a clean-up. AI's the clean-up.
AI.
Yeah, AI's the clean-up. I've got a lot of mates that do the framework, I think they would call it.
Yeah.
And then the body parts and stuff
Tidy
is
it
AI,
up.
yeah.
Tidy up. We're almost at the point where we don't need you anymore.
Yeah,
because you've done the intro that many times.
If we take you out of the intro,
I reckon there probably is you could feed all of the episodes through some kind of generator and then just make an AI version.
Yeah, because you'd have say Port and you'd go, what's the vibe?
What's the vibe there
at Port Adelaide?
Ken, what's the vibe?
What's with Ken and the handover?
The teeth.
And just like the 4 points that he talks about all the time.
Correct.
And then you get AI to divvy up the
draft.
teams.
As he quickly looks down at his notes to see what he's got Port Adelaide.
Scratch that one out.
Hey, just quickly too, before we do go, hey, how'd you go getting up here today? With security.
Good. Yeah,
because of the beer.
All good. So I haven't mentioned this. So the beer that you and I bet, the dishevelled box that you gave me.
That's the one that you gave them?
No. So, Gage Rhodes dived in and said, we'll replace it with Freshies.
Yes. And they've done that?
I rolled up to the office the other day and they handed me 2 boxes of Gage Rhodes single fin downstairs. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So they gave you 2 boxes?
2 boxes.
Oh, that must be nice.
So then I thought it's time to wheel and deal.
Yes.
So security have been a bit of a pain in our ass, haven't they, Rinny?
Well, there's been new policies.
That we can't enter the building.
Force it, some don't.
Yeah.
We can't enter the building unless
someone comes down.
Ushered by a permanent employee.
Which is a pain in the ass for me.
Because we are a long way from the front desk
I
where
don't
we are
want
here. So I looked security in the eyes. I looked my cartons in the eyes. And I said, hey, guys, would you like a box of beer? And they all jumped at the opportunity.
Yeah,
of
course they did.
And they've shared the box out amongst them.
So gave one.
Gave one.
Smart.
We have not had an issue with security since I bribed them.
What if someone else is there?
No. We're all good now. We are all good.
So even if they weren't there, they look after those 2 boys.
They know that
you're probably on a list.
Correct. We're on the list.
You're on a photo.
So you will no longer get called, emailed, asked to come down from your desk.
Do you think there will come a point in, say, 6 months where the expectation is that you need to top it up?
Yeah.
Or any signs of that, I'll be willing to top it up because it's a pain in my ass waiting in that room, waiting
it's
downstairs.
It's a beer economy situation.
He's also got a long line, like a production line of beers coming to
That's
him.
true. So how did you go? Did you get the 3?
No one
wanted it.
Yeah, they knew.
This was the
Saints Hawks.
Yeah. Everybody knew.
Yeah.
Although,
it wasn't
close. It was a sus game. It was it was a snooze fest.
No, it was easily Hawthorn all the way, arm's length. That was easy enough.
Hey, you came up with an idea that was an idea from a listener.
Yes.
A few weeks back that they wanted us to do ladder predictor. So we finally, 2 weeks later, done it. Did you use AI for yours, Nick? Or?
No, I didn't. I just went through.
Okay, actually did it.
I used
That's
NR.
interesting. Okay, so I've identified 12 games remaining.
Yep.
Where, depending how you tip them,
Yeah, you took it to another
it
level.
could shift the whole ladder. Because it's like some games don't matter.
No.
Like if North's playing St Kilda, who cares?
Yeah, okay.
It's irrelevant.
Yep.
But if the Western Bulldogs are playing Adelaide, or if Adelaide's playing Gold Coast, or if GWS is playing Sydney.
Or this weekend, Hawthorn play Freo.
Correct, exactly. That prime games that actually can shift the way the ladder looks. And it's probably only, really, if I narrowed it down, it's probably 10. But do you want me to read those games off first?
Yes.
So there's Collingwood Gold Coast, and that's on the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if Collingwood wins, and that's bad for the Gold Coast.
Are these in order?
They're in round.
Fly through them too, though. Otherwise, we'll get them out.
Western Bulldogs, Adelaide, Geelong, GWS, Fremantle, Hawthorn, Adelaide Gold Coast, GWS Sydney, Brisbane Gold Coast, Western Bulldogs, GWS. That's a big one. Gold Coast Carlton, Port Adelaide Freo.
Ooh.
That's in Adelaide. Brisbane Freo is here, and Gold Coast GWS is massive in the last round.
So you've put Port Adelaide in as a big game, and who was the other team?
Carlton.
You put Carlton in as a big game.
I've just realised the extra game.
Yeah, there's another one then.
So it doesn't change my ladder. No. It just might change the order slightly.
All right. So you go. Do you want to do top four?
It was if you did it on the thing. It was in the last round.
It was down the bottom.
Oh,
there were two.
Yeah, there was
so
two.
maybe I did do it.
Yeah,
you probably did it.
Maybe I did do it.
It doesn't matter anyway. You got the same.
It's the same.
Hey, do you want to do top four each first?
Yeah,
okay.
go.
All right, Rini, you go first. Top
I got Collingwood,
Yep.
Adelaide, Geelong, Western Bulldogs.
So you got Brisbane sliding.
I got Brisbane sliding, but yeah.
Okay. Well, I have Collingwood, Geelong, Brisbane, Western Bulldogs. I love how he puts Adelaide like winning every game.
Well, I have Collingwood, Brisbane, Adelaide, Giants.
Giants.
Really?
Wow, we feel very differently about the Giants.
I just figured they're going to get all their good players back.
We feel very
Who's the
differently.
good players?
Sam Taylor, Brett Daniels, Jesse Hogan, Lockie Whitfield.
Oh, yeah, but they've all been around the place.
Yeah, but they're not playing at the moment.
Forever.
They're not playing now.
Okay, all right.
They did just play the Eagles. Are you just a little bit excited about one game?
No.
Okay.
No, have you not seen what they've done recently?
No, they've been very good. Okay.
Which part of beating the Suns the week before? Which part of beating Brisbane the week before that is not a fucking good form line?
But they've got some good games to come.
Which part of going head to head with the Cats at Geelong they won? What's wrong with that form line?
All right.
All right, settle down. Jesus. So you've got them third or fourth?
I've got them in fourth.
Wow,
so we'll go through the top 8 in order.
If they
at
make
the
the grand final, don't you have to pay for the whole family to go?
Yeah, no, I got something at work.
So what was your four? You got Collingwood,
Adelaide, Geelong, Western Bulldogs. Adelaide and Geelong are on the same points.
Okay, all right, fire through. Go from top to bottom now.
All right, so go Nick.
Collingwood, Adelaide, Geelong, Bulldogs, Gold Coast, Brisbane, Hawthorn, Giants.
Giants miss.
Giants and Fremantle. No, Freo misses.
Freo miss.
Giants and Freo
ninth?
same points though as well.
Okay.
So again, the percentage. I never put the.
No.
I only do
Freo
it
miss.
for a couple of games.
So Freo or the Giants. Freo, Giants, and Hawthorn are all on the same points in my.
But Freo miss.
Ladder.
All right.
But Freo miss.
Now, who did you have winning this weekend's game? Hawthorn, Freo.
I had Fremantle.
Oh, okay. So that's with that.
That's
okay.
with that one.
Cool. And then 10th? Not really important.
No, I didn't
Just give me 10th. Is Sydney close?
Sydney's next.
Are they close?
No, they're 12 points away.
All right. Zave, you want to go?
I went Collingwood, Brisbane, Adelaide Giants, Geelong, Bulldogs, Gold Coast, Hawthorn, Fremantle 9th.
Interesting.
And I went Fremantle beat Hawthorn this weekend.
Okay.
And I haven't got them on percentage either. I've got them missing.
Missing.
So you must have them losing to Port, Brisbane, and maybe even Carlton.
And Collingwood.
Oh, Collingwood. Yeah, Collingwood. I had that one too. I think I have them beating either Brisbane or Port, one or the other.
I deleted my chart. I can't remember how I had it.
Okay, I have Collingwood, Geelong, Brisbane, Western Bulldogs, Hawthorn, Adelaide, Fremantle, Gold Coast, GWS.
GWS miss.
9th.
Sydney 10th, and they're 3 wins behind. So even with all this spark,
So it's out of 9.
the problem, the GWS thing, because they've got Geelong, which I had Geelong winning.
Yeah.
I've got them beating Sydney.
Geelong in Sydney.
Yeah, but I just really like Geelong. They've got the Sydney Derby. I've got them beating Sydney in that.
Yeah.
But then I've got the Bulldogs beating them at Marvel. And then I've got Gold Coast beating them on the Gold Coast because their games aren't easy. Like they have a hard draw.
Oh, they've got Essendon in there. They've got North in
so
there.
those
They've
are
got
wins.
St Kilda in
so
there.
those are wins.
Yeah.
And now saying that, the Gold Coast, GWS, Freo, and Adelaide are all within one win on my ladder.
Yeah. No, it's on for young and old.
It's going to be a good run.
All right, there we go.
Consensus is that Freo's missing 2 out of 3.
Well, yeah. It's
and I've only got him one win in, so it could easily pivot straight out. Yeah, massive.
And you're in the 10th, so you've got a little
I'm not in the 10th.
Yeah.
We all had them winning this week.
Campfire.
So just you guys have them all must have them losing to Port Adelaide and Brisbane.
I think so, yeah.
I've certainly got them losing to Brisbane.
Yeah.
Oh, Brisbane and Collingwood, and I had them losing to Port Adelaide as well. At Adelaide Oval.
All right.
Kick us off, Zave.
Let's start with the Western Bulldogs. Tom Liberatore, or as Nathan Brown would call him, Tom Liberatore Jr. It's an interesting one when his dad's name's Tony. Anyway, so Western Bulldogs, I wanted to do a little comparison between the two Liberatores.
Oh,
yeah.
So Tom and Tony, I know we all say Tony won a Brownlow, so he must be the better Liberatore.
Yep.
So I just went through their careers. So obviously Little Libba, 250 games. He has won 1 best and fairest. He's been 3 times runner-up, and he's been twice third.
Oh.
So he's been 6 times in the top 3, of which Bontempelli's.
Yeah, you can't get
so
past
you've
Bont.
been runner-up to Bont 3 times. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
He's won the 1 flag, and that's about Libba.
Scored
there.
100 off Funky Miller.
What was that?
Scored 100 off Funky Miller at the MCG. Don't you remember that?
Oh, when he was pissed, was he?
Well, he was just going around the boundary straight after winning the flag. They're like, oh, how are you?
Oh, yes. And then he went to Thailand and played a game of footy there. His father won a Brownlow.
Yes.
He won 1 best and fairest.
So same.
No, different year. Same in terms of amounts, but different year to the Brownlow. So we did him at Pritis. Pritter won the Brownlow. Eric McKenzie won the best and fairest that year. He played 33 more games currently, so you'd think Tom would almost get past him.
Yep.
And then I just thought over the last 5 years, I'd go through and see how many times Tony had over 25 touches.
Yeah.
So the last 5 years of his career, he had over 25 5 times.
Yep.
And then I thought, I'll go over to Tom and see how many times he had over 30 in the last 5 years.
Yep.
He's had over 30 26 times, Tom.
Right.
Wow.
He racks the piss out of the football. No, way different eras.
Yeah.
But you don't credit Tom Liberatore with getting over 30 as much as he has. Over 25 is nearly every game.
Yeah.
He is very, very good, Tom, and I'm taking Tom over Tony.
I'll take Tom over Tony.
Tony was a good player, and he was a pain in the ass.
Yeah, he was a pain in the ass more than a good player, wasn't he?
Oh, he's a Brownlow medalist.
Yeah, no, but
that was early
he
when he
was
changed his game.
Did you get his top 3 best and fairest?
No, they didn't have it.
Oh.
They didn't have it. And so the current days they've got awards like
Yeah.
Sutton Award or whatever.
I feel like I still take Tony.
But
it's very close.
Okay, there you go.
Maybe in a couple of years.
I'm sweating like a bush pig under this jumper.
Is
So
quite warm.
Do you want to take it off? You want
Is
to
there a
moment?
reluctance? What are you wearing?
no, I'm having a steam.
Okay. I'll go Adelaide. Was Ben Key's goal of the year?
What, the one over his head?
The over the head is
not goal of the year.
They should put that picture of the 3 Melbourne players trying to touch it in a museum.
Yeah.
That was so beautiful.
I do like
It's like we were at the pub having lunch, and I looked up and I just saw the 3 hands before I'd seen the goal, and I was like,
painting.
that's remarkable.
Was it clear that none of them touched that ball?
I don't think
I
it was
think
stupid.
so.
It was clear?
I think so. And I was sitting, 30 metres away.
Yeah.
And it was a
Pub.
big screen. But it was a big screen.
Yeah,
And
I was drifting off in that game, but I do think, as my sleep watch hit 97 last night, I was
Very
pretty
nice.
worn out.
Tidy.
I thought maybe they maybe got a nail on it, but I'm glad it was called a goal.
It's great. So not goal of the year for you.
No,
He deserved
Just
a bit
more
of
dumb luck.
help.
luck.
Yeah. Luck?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you noticed Rennie clears his throat 3 minutes into every podcast we do?
Yeah.
I
Is
mustn't
that
talk
the-
to many people in the
Yeah,
morning.
is that
and
what it
takes
is?
a while, then I start going, and
I reckon you need to sing in the car on the way in.
have it just belt out a few.
Just
Yeah.
sing a
Yeah,
little
Warm
bit.
up the chords.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Because
next
poor old
time.
Jossie rides that bloody mic button as you cough and splutter. It's like a full-time smoker down the end. Sorry, keep going.
Isaac Rankin, 5 goals. Your man?
Oh, look at that! A bit of candy.
That's very nice.
He
played very
needed
well.
that.
Yeah,
He did need that.
I thought that too.
And
I was-
Adelaide
off.
need that. They need him to be one of the best players in the competitions, not
Yeah.
a once-a-month best player in the
I know
competition.
you've
Yeah.
got Adelaide third. Did you have a third?
Second.
Third? Second. Okay, which is kind of ridiculous.
I mean,
Zave,
they've got an easy run.
you
Yeah, they
had
do.
him.
I
I didn't
You had
think
him
too
third.
hard about
I-
what I was plugging in.
I don't see what you guys see still. I mean, that was a.
Yeah,
that was
you're
a-
allowed to have shit ones though.
But
You
like-
are allowed
but
to have
also-
shit ones, but I just don't believe in them as a top 14.
Kudos to their recruitment. Peatling, Isaac Cumming, Neil Bullen. They brought in two
nice.
future thirds and a fourth. They lost Elliot Himmelberg and some shitty old picks after
Yeah.
that. They've done really well. I think their team has
Yeah.
depth.
Yeah,
they
it
have
does.
depth more than other teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think their run home, if you get that up really quickly, is pretty sick. They got the Bulldogs, which is hard, and then the Suns. Then they got Port Adelaide,
They could go
West
either way.
Coast.
The Port Adelaide could go either way.
Oh, no, they got a tough
Ken's
run.
last showdown.
Mate, yeah.
I don't know how you guys had them so high.
I just like, even at home.
Home game.
I think a lot
home
of them
ground.
are at home. Yeah.
Home ground, mate. They are the home ground specialists.
And they're hard games. Most of them are at home, I think.
Just Rochelle's at.
That's what it is. They're hard games. Collingwood at home, Hawthorn at home, and Suns at home.
Yeah.
Home ground specialists. And Rochelle's at ACL.
I don't know.
I
think
reckon,
I'll
can
get
you have a
today.
chat to the people who do the cameras and this is your job?
That was a Fox game.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah. I don't need to see the knees going over and over and over and over and over.
Don't watch them.
No, but
Some
just
people
don't
want to
get-
see it.
What, the snapping of a
They're
leg?
sick.
Some people like to see it.
Yeah, I just don't like seeing it at all. I can't watch it. When people, that's his livelihood done
So
for
would you
12
like
months.
them to do the whole, if you don't want to see the score,
Well, just
look
show it
away
once.
now.
Show it once. They showed it
Now.
Play some Diesel.
40 times yesterday, this poor kid's leg going backwards up his ass.
The rule seems to be don't show like snaps. Like if a leg breaks, don't show that over and over again. Remember like the Nathan Brown one?
Yeah.
Or like, they don't
You
show
show at
those
least
over
one.
and
I
over
don't know many
again.
who want to see an ACL or a
You don't have to watch though.
Yeah, but just stop showing
Go
it
to
20
the toilet.
times.
Go get a beer or something.
Stop showing it 20 times.
I reckon you'll find there's people
Can't
who
get
want to
away.
see it. Because people want to diagnose it. People want to look at it and go, how bad is it? Ooh,
So
what's that?
the bloke on the couch with the beer
So is- can you
wants
show-
to diagnose
hold on,
what's
so-
going on with the knee.
so
injury.
once-
Correct. They wanna
100%.
diagnose everything.
Have you ever watched
Yeah.
footy with anyone?
yeah, but you don't need it 20 times.
So you're okay they watch it, if they replay it once?
What's your margin?
Once or twice.
I reckon twice, two angles.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
But,
angle,
but yesterday
angle,
it was
done.
on over and over and over and over and over.
Also, well, that, from a broadcaster perspective, you've got a lot of dead time to fill them while they get off the
Correct.
field.
I would say you do it in the moment, you show it a couple of times, then you wait and maybe at the break you can say, look, we're going to show the Josh Rochelle knee. If you don't want to see it, look away.
And then would
Do
you
you
like
like
him to
watching
just-
it?
I'm fine with it.
I need to see it once.
I mean, but I'm in the world where I need replays for things and for news purposes. I need to see things to see what they actually are. I can't just close my eyes and pretend it
Yeah.
didn't happen.
No, but my
you
curiosity-
say it twice and you're fine. You're done.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Seeing it 7 times,
But
not
the
going to
problem
change your
is, if
opinion
you
when you don't know what you're looking
if you're
at.
not there when they play the replay, if I come back and there's a guy who's writhing in pain, like,
Yeah.
I want to see what happened.
Yeah, you're like, what happened to him?
What happened?
I want to see the.
And I miss
So
it.
for that split second that you walked away and then you walk back that 8 seconds,
Yeah.
you need to see it another 6 times.
Well, what,
Yeah,
what
or
if he
like-
hasn't seen it?
Yeah, what if you're doing something and then you see like Twitter fire up? You're like, oh, what actually happened? You got to find the vision.
Yeah, I just think once or twice. I don't need to see it 8 times in a row.
Well, let's get into Fremantle. As proud major sponsor of the Fremantle Football Club, Woodside has accepted the challenge of supporting local footy at all levels, from grassroots to greatness, so it can thrive throughout WA. Woodside, Australia's leading energy company. Fremantle Dockers, the odds-on favourite for 9th, apparently, after all of our
Yeah.
ladder predictors.
Yes.
What does a fit and firing Hayden Young cure their midfield issue? Because they just seem to get bashed. If it's big midfield who wants to bash you,
He helps.
Fremantle can't really.
He helps in a big
Do
way
anything.
because he's strong. He's got a great kick.
I think it's a size.
But also the flexibility of him to go either forward or back now too.
Yes.
because he was starting to drift forward a
But
little bit.
I'm thinking about more specifically the midfield issue here, like the big bodies just bashing, because Fremantle's mids aren't huge.
Fremantle's still $1.45 to make the 8.
Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, because
That's
there's people who've done the ladder
haven't
predictor like
listened to
me and have them in the 8.
Yeah,
But you guys are anti-Freo.
Absolutely not.
Fremantle realists.
I am anti.
You're a pessimist because you're a Fremantle fan, and you are hoping for them
detached
to miss the
emotionally.
game.
I'm an anti put Caleb Strong forward when he gets tagged. That's why I am anti.
Just work through it.
I'm anti playing 4 talls.
That's probably his worst game. It's like almost Caleb's
He's had a couple of them this year where
when-
he's just
when-
unsighted.
But when the tagger then kicks 2 the other way off him,
Yeah.
it's
He's
probably
been
another level.
susceptible. He's been susceptible. It did seem like at the start of the last term, like, oh, Caleb's gonna do that
didn't-
thing, but and he started to, but then he couldn't
no,
go.
and the
But
person
that's
who
where
they're-
Hayden Young would help,
Just a big,
Yeah.
yeah, he
Well,
wasn't going to worry about
because
it.
then he's off the leash.
he shouldn't, but wouldn't. But there's a person he's coaching against him this week who he was the best person at getting tagged.
Oh,
And then
Mitch.
going to man up someone else and then creating a 1v.
He did
should straight away
against Fremantle very
in a grand
successful.
final, and he just didn't react to it, and
Yeah.
Hawthorn won. He should, first of all, if just say Finn McGuinness, I don't know if he probably won't play, but
Yep.
or Connor Nash is not just taking him at stoppages. At stoppages 50-50, he's got to win that contest. It's 50-50. But if he's getting tagged around the ground, he should just go latch onto the back of John Newcomb,
They'll go
dry
down.
hump his back for the day, just dry hump him. And then it's a 2v1 there. Nash is not chasing the footy. You're stopping Newcomb. And lo and behold, there's
Someone's
Brayshaw by himself. There's Bolton by himself. Yes, Sarong won't get Brownlow votes. He'll probably get best and fairest votes. But on the weekend, putting him forward, I don't think. If I'm coaching in the box, if I'm Dean Cox, the big Coxzilla, and I see Caleb Sarong go half forward, what are you thinking?
Yeah, great.
Big tick.
We've had a win here.
Big tick.
We've had a win.
I just think maybe you can eliminate one of their best players. Nick Dacos.
Oh.
Collingwood. Nick Dacos is, and I'm telling you right now, if you want to have a little responsibility, 1-800-858-858, of course.
Is this the Brownlow?
The Brownlow medal at $2.50 is Nick Dacos's. Locked, loaded, and delivered.
$2.50.
$2.50. So Nick Dacos has run home. I just went through who tags and who doesn't tag typically. So he's got the Gold Coast Suns, don't tag. Then he's got Fremantle who send Wagner to him, but they allow Wagner to still do his bench stop, like he starts on the bench. So there's still 20 minutes of the game. Nick Dacos can do what he wants.
Last time Dacos went forward and
Wagner got.
Yeah.
It could have been 3 and 5 minutes. Yep. Richmond, no tags. Brisbane, no tags. Hawthorn, typically no tags. Adelaide, typically no tags. And then Melbourne, they sent Neil Bullen to him last year. Obviously not there anymore. Jack Viney or Langdon will probably do that job again. So there's two. He's going to poll, you'd think, in the next 5 games, 10 to 15 votes. He's a level above.
Is this the year he
best
just wins
player? I think he just wins it because you look at who's in the market. Now, I've taken a screenshot. Jordan Dawson's had a good year, but hasn't really been.
Not the same.
You're
Adelaide
not locking in threes.
But Adelaide have won a lot of games, so he's going to get a lot
but
of
on the
twos and
weekend,
threes.
but on the weekend, for example,
gets
ranking kicks 5.
Ranking gets 3.
Yeah.
Dawson gets the 2 then.
Something in between. Bailey Smith's missing more games than you can poke a stick at now.
That'll kill him.
And what's going to happen there at the end? Noah Anderson's had an indifferent year. He had 2 good halves over the last 2 weeks.
Matt
The first
Rowe's
half
gonna
he's
take
been
a lot off
unsighted.
him.
Caleb Sarong, we just spoke about, yo-yo in games, he has just simply not been involved. And then you're out to $34, Tom Green.
So
Ed,
are we
Ed
talking,
Richards,
are we
Hugh
talking
McCluggage.
a Paddy Cripps, it's over in
47,
by round 15?
I think it's going to be over.
50,
I think it's going to be over.
Raise the bat and walk up on the stage.
I think at rounds, about this round, if we wanted to speed it up, I know it's the night of nights.
This will be the point where Andrew Dillon starts reading the votes really quickly.
McDildo needs to go hard.
Yeah, but Zyda and Miller are 3 votes.
Correct.
2 votes.
Yeah.
Callum Wilkie, 2 votes.
100, and if he wants to skip a couple of shit games, maybe everyone sits
North
there going,
Melbourne,
hang on,
Richmond,
who got the
Stadium.
North Melbourne votes in that game?
Colin
don't
McKesson,
worry.
1 vote.
Yeah, I think this is the run home that Nick Dacos needs. He's going to separate himself. And yes, he gets some junk time. Like the week before against West Coast, he was scampering for nugget, just looking for it everywhere. But you've got to also go, well, week before that, he had someone up his ginger for the entire game.
Essendon. I saw Jake Clark's piece about Essendon having a gap year.
Gap decade.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with it.
Gap 30.
Because
Who's Jay's support? Is he at Essendon, man? I know there's some. I think I might think of. Who am I thinking
John
of?
Ralph, I think he's
He's
Essendon.
Richmond.
No, he's
He's
Richmond.
Richmond.
It is his gap year. They've aged out of the workforce by the time they're trying to get their first job.
I just don't think they are having a gap year. I took another close look at their list. I think I said at the start of this year that Essendon's list is really bad. But
you had them down for 2 wins.
Yeah, but everything they're doing now is good. What did I have them in? In the end, I've got them finishing 5th last this year.
How many wins?
Well, 28 points. So what's that? 7 wins, which is better than I would have thought.
Yeah.
But I think they need to take more steps back. So that by my ladder, they'll have Melbourne's pick, which will be pick 3, and their pick, which will be pick 5. Now, obviously, those picks will fall back.
And Draper looks like he's off again.
See ya.
Yeah.
Sammy.
So there could be.
Thank you very much.
There could be 3 picks in top 10 again, we're talking.
I would hope that them offering an improved offer to Sam Draper is them being clever about compensation, and it's not about keeping Sam Draper.
To try and boost up the rivals
That need
offer.
Brisbane or Adelaide to just tick it up a little bit.
We've got to find another 200 here.
Guys, let's pretend we want Sam.
So you're telling Matt Rose is playing a bit of ducks and
I
drakes?
hope he is.
Rats.
You're mates with him. I hope he is. Because if that happens
good man, Matt.
and they walk away with the 3, because that will be their pick. So they would end up with.
Will you eventually
3,
be
5,
on
and 6?
board if they do that?
I'm starting to be on board.
Yeah,
I think we
because
come
they're
around.
actually doing stuff.
Yes.
All my
Who'd
ranting
they
and
take last
raving about
year?
Essendon.
Kako.
This is what I want them to do.
Yeah.
Be shit.
Yes.
And get picks.
Yes.
Stop finishing 9th and 12th and 11th and even 8th.
Yep.
You're
I
not
agree.
going to be any good.
I'm with you.
So we're finally starting to see the turning of a corner.
Well,
But
I
let's
think the
not
club-
pretend
I think the
this is a
clubs-
1 year down
No.
trend.
Oh, no.
I think the club's turned the corner with
PFL.
out
Who's
with
running
the
it?
old
Yes.
and in with
This
the new.
Does sound like there's still a fair bit of work to do, maybe at board level.
I don't know.
And definitely list level. But we're starting to see what should happen. So Kev, I'm excited for you, Kev. As long as they don't f it up from here.
Oh,
Yeah.
Don't beep that one out either, Josh. Hey, can I get do we have to beep out the odd F-bomb? Is that part of the rules?
No. I'm just being...
I don't mind it when it
commercially
beeps
safe.
it. I reckon it's quite good.
Because I know you're clean cut,
Yeah, I like the
whereas I'm a rat bag.
You want yours left
I don't
in?
mind mine being
Okay,
left
beat
in.
mine, leave
We're
yours
going to
in.
worry about Brand Daniels.
When I'm or Kendall Daniels, we
Kendall
should say.
Daniels.
Jeez, that was some feedback.
What was that all about?
You got a lot of Ajay Amis feedback.
Yeah, I think did I send it to you? I might have got
did.
rid of it. I think I got. Oh, here. No. Oh, sad news. One of the snagger dogs I raced on Friday passed away Friday.
What? On the
Really?
same day you raced
You
it?
killed a dog.
You killed the dog. What? So, hold on. a minute. So anyone who hasn't been aware of Xavier's other job, he is on breakfast for Triple M over here in Perth. And he was obnoxious last year and said that he could race sausage dogs and beat them, which he did. So
Because
then-
their owners are pretty arrogant.
Because their owners are
Owners
arrogant.
are arrogant.
So then he's beaten 3 or 4 dogs last year. And then this year he's done it again on Friday. He now have killed a
You
dog.
ran one into the ground.
Which one?
Oh, I got this sent to me yesterday from the Log Dogs WA Association. It's
They
a sad.
suing you?
It's a sad day today after a stunning athletic performance against Xavier on Friday. My poor elite athlete Snags had to grow his wings suddenly. Went from one of the best days to one of the worst.
So what happened? Heart
I
attack?
don't know.
Heart attack?
Heart attack, mate, maybe.
Look, he shouldn't be racing. They're not racing dogs. You've
Did
killed
they
a
get
dog.
a medical?
Jeez.
You got to get medical clearance.
Hey,
next year.
back to Kendall.
I was going to say, how did you sleep last night? But apparently,
Yeah,
according
yeah,
to his watch,
97.
he slept like a
97.
baby.
Yeah, no, I was gonna. I didn't want to joke about poor old
wow.
Snaggers, but he did die. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I got a message from James Dool yesterday who says, if Kendall ever tries to defend and come up with a mythical reason as to why Jai Miss is still tracking well, please just stop him and don't let him talk about Fremantle or a miss anymore because his blindness is nauseating.
Am I Kendall?
You're Kendall.
I think you're
in this
Kendall.
That's
situation.
harsh.
Yeah.
I think you're Kendall.
That's harsh.
Hadn't had a shave. He's not clean shaven
Oh,
today.
exactly.
I think if we had to pick one of the
Who
three
out
of
of the
us to
three?
be Kendall,
What are you talking about?
Well,
I think it could probably you,
that's
mate.
fair. You'd be like what's the
Homeless Ken.
Yeah, nah, like
Shrek doll.
the modern Kens.
The big
you know,
Shrek
like
doll,
they're
just fuck.
bringing him into the modern
Ken
world.
Bear Ken. Ken Bear.
Ken Bear.
All right, where are we at?
We are at. Is that me?
Oh, I don't know. We've lost. All
We've
kinds
lost
of
completely.
track
Oh,
time.
okay. Let's do Hawthorn. Give us a percentage, Dave.
59.9.
You can't have gone up after that shit.
59.9.
But they did again. They did enough. Here's my question for
See what happened in the twos?
Yes. Cal Shadir and Mitch Lewis both kicked 3, and I've done that in sort of 2 weeks in a row.
had 20 odd. And
Yeah, this is big. They're big games from these are the 2 who we look forward a year's time and say those are the
they're
the
the
2
pillars.
in the side.
Yeah.
So what do they do? Because they're in form and playing well. Do they do the famous example at the moment, the Canterbury Bankstown over in
famous.
the NRL.
Yeah, famous example.
Well, they brought in this young, fresh new
Yes.
halfback, and it's just stuffed everything up.
Yes.
They can't get a win.
He
They were on
jumped
top of the
ship,
ladder.
didn't he, mid-season?
Yeah, from West Tigers.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
So
Sorry.
can you bring it? Can you disrupt what's happening at league level now? They're playing really
So-
well. Do you bring in these guys that you need to bring in, or does that stuff up?
So
the forward line?
you don't think Hawthorn are going that well?
I'm on Hawthorn.
Oh, yeah.
They're banking wins.
But I think that game was pretty flat, but it's St Kilda, so you can never
Again,
tell.
you're banking wins.
You could never tell.
They nearly scored 100 against St Kilda, and everyone gives Ross credit for just.
I
it's a
reckon at
Ross
this
game.
point you got to bring Cal Shadir in because he's had a body of work. Whereas I think Mitch, you can at least go, oh, we'll just give him one more week and we don't want to have to travel to Perth with him.
I think Mitch Lewis certainly won't come back in
No.
yet. I think he's probably a couple of weeks. ACL,
You just need to get
confidence.
Yeah,
Deary
he's pretty confident at the moment.
Yeah, missed a lot of footy with his back all of pre-season. Came in, didn't work. I think it's second year blues in terms of no preparation.
Yep.
yeah.
Back to the twos. It takes a bit of a kick to your ego, and then you work your
Playing
ass
12.
off.
Who's keeping him out?
Who's keeping Deer out?
Is it Gunston?
Nah, it's not Gunston.
Is it Chol?
No, Chol's probably more keeping Lewis out.
Yeah, but they're the 2 at the moment, aren't they? Gunston and Chol. You got to. So this is what I mean.
Gunston's keeping Deer out. I'm telling
Nah,
you.
it's Ramsden.
Oh, Ramsden. Well,
it's
Ramsden
Ramsden.
got
Well,
hurt.
that's an
He got
easy one.
subbed off.
All right, well, there you
Deary
go.
will come in
So
this
Deer
week.
comes
Yeah,
in for
but then
Ramsden.
the next one's the interesting question.
Chol's in the gun.
Is it Chol?
Chol's
But
in the
Nah,
he's doing
Chol's not in the
plenty.
gun. Chol's not in the gun.
What?
I'm telling you, 2 phones is not in the gun.
So what are you doing? Dropping Gunston?
Well, then
Mate,
Gun.
2 phones is top 10 Coleman at the moment.
Yes.
So is Gunston, is he?
Well, over the last 10 weeks, Gunston's probably leading.
Gunston's.
Chol going that well?
Yeah, mate. Chol's going
Is he
well.
having
This
an
is what I'm
Ollie,
saying.
is he having an Ollie Henry season?
Who's kicked
Yeah.
more goals, Chol or Josh Tracy? Chol or Darcy Fogarty?
What? Chol.
Chol or Sam Darcy who missed a lot of footy? Chol or Toby Green?
What?
Mate, Chol or Curnow?
How many has he kicked?
Mate, he's kicked 32.
He is heading for an Ollie Henry season.
He is. He's 8 goals.
So
9 goals
apologise
away.
to Two Phones.
Apologies.
Yeah.
Apologies.
I know.
I think they find a way.
Squeeze it.
To bring both.
Yeah, this is one where Gunston
So you're
wouldn't
going to
want to
play
rest.
Lewis, Chol, Deer, Gunston in the same forward line.
Fremantle are doing it. You don't have too many problems with it.
Who's going to be the Jai Amos role?
Who's right?
Or are you going to run to the pocket?
Really...
Well, I think they probably thought it was going to be Gunston.
Yeah.
And then he starts kicking 7.
And now he's just kicking goals.
He's going to be the one desperately fighting. Like, maybe you need a rest, Jack. No.
You don't rest. You don't rest. Hey, let's go over to Melbourne, just because I probably skip over Melbourne far too often. They were good at the start of that game yesterday. Had a patch through the middle, which was tough.
Oh, fine.
They were fine. They're a bottom 4 side.
They need to be worse.
I've got them finishing third last.
Yeah, I think I've got them third last
Don't have
too.
their pick.
That's right.
Just quickly, Jake Lever. I know he hurt himself yesterday.
Dropped last week.
Steve May is
38.
But was in good. Steve May was in good form yesterday. 33 years old. Value's probably not there. I'm not sure clubs are going to jump at Steve May.
George Hardy's kicked 6 on him.
They need to make their man in that back line 194, 195 centimetre. Disco Turner.
How good's Disco going?
Disco Turner is the one. Yesterday, just quickly, he had
11
marks?
marks?
He had 16 marks.
16 marks.
And he had
10 intercepts.
There it is. 10 intercepts, 16 marks. Disco Turner can just take that Jake Lever role.
Yeah.
Like that.
Bang.
Easy.
Disco.
Can you move Lever into something? They're trying to get some picks. They're trying to get picks back.
You're not getting any.
Nothing for Lever.
You're not getting good picks.
No, you dropped him.
Now, Viney yesterday had 30 disposals. I talked last year, about North Melbourne. Eager, did they just use North to do it because he Pickett and Freo to boost the price up? If Jack Viney's name was Jack Smith, would there be talk about why are they keeping Viney? Wouldn't they be trying to move him off for everything just to try and get
he's
more
an asset
picks
you
in?
can use, yeah.
Melbourne
31.
have the opportunity. They're a bit late to the party, but they have the opportunity to kind of do the Hawthorn thing.
Well, they need to pull the trigger. And
Viney, May, Lever.
Petrarca, they've got to grow some balls.
Petrarca's a bit different.
They've got to grow some kahunas. Otherwise, they're going to be sitting where we do every weekend for 5 years watching West Coast just get railed.
Petrarca has
all
actual
19
value.
people in the
Out of all the players we've just talked about, he's the only one with value, with first round pick value.
Yes, agree.
And Pickett did as well. Pickett, you've got an extra 5 years. Pickett's 23,
Pickett's a
24.
baby, and you've signed that deal, so you're married. That's it. You're married to him.
Well, that's what I mean. They've made that decision now. But yeah, Petrarca 29, so he still has
he's the
first
asset.
round value.
He's the asset. But if you're doing that,
leave her out.
this is the start of
It has to be, though.
the start of something real ugly.
They'll obviously ugly, yes.
Because what?
But I think it's going to be ugly anyway. They're
but
finishing third last.
What the Petrarcas and the Mays and the Levers and the Olivers do is enable you to think next year, well, maybe.
No, my mates aren't thinking next year, and they're all Melbourne supporters. They are not looking forward to watching May, not looking forward to seeing Oliver, not looking forward to seeing Viney. They don't want to see any of it.
Get them all
rid of it.
out.
But the
Clear
problem
out.
is that
you keep going.
Well, Gordon, you don't want to
yeah.
see that champion finishing another game.
So he's the one.
He's the one you keep. But that's they don't have that stuff needs alignment, board, front office, list management.
Yeah.
They
don't have any of that.
They don't have any of that.
All right,
which is
let's
a problem.
move on. Let's go to GWS. Jeez, I know it was against the West Coast
He was
Eagles.
shit on him here.
No, I'm not.
We learned earlier you hate the Giants.
No, I love the
They're
Giants.
going to drop out. They're no good.
Sucks to see Jack Buckley go off with an ankle. Don't know how serious that is just yet. It's hard to get news out of the Giants because there's no one reporting on it.
Ankles are usually 0 weeks or
very hard.
significant.
Yeah, but geez, Finn Callahan.
Oh, wow.
yeah.
My God. In terms of like arousal, like watching a game of footy, that's pretty good. That's pretty arousing.
Mate, and I said in the call, his looks match his game.
He does.
Yeah.
He is the whole package.
It speaks well.
Kudos to GWS for signing him long term. That is a remarkable thing that they have got him locked in.
Correct.
Like the way he moves when he has the footy, it's just like kind of like if you were drawing a logo of like a midfielder, how you wanted.
You think he's the logo player?
He's a logo.
He's the logo.
He'd be a perfect God statue,
wouldn't he?
But he's 9/10 of the way there. Kicking when he's running, he's a bit shaky.
37 touches, 854 metres gained, and a goal. He took the piss. Like West Coast had no answer for him, and that's a West Coast thing.
West Coast can't run, and the Giants can run.
I think we're heading to a place because these two boys are still 24 and under. where him and Tom Green are going to be the best 1-2 punch in the midfield.
Tom Green was average on the weekend.
He was average.
Had 15 in the last. His numbers huge.
But his inside stuff and Finn's inside-outside stuff, that's an amazing combination.
Yeah, I felt like that game should have been 100.
Like who's the best midfield combo? It's like Bonton, Ed Richards, or like is it Goulden
Smith
and Warner, or like Heaney, or like is it
Smith and
Holmes?
Smith and Holmes.
Newcombe and Warple.
Sarong and Brayshaw.
No.
It's not Newcombe and Warple, you idiot. It's Warple. It's not Warple. Newcombe has no mates.
I can't say anything on this podcast without being ridiculed.
Newcombe and Warple.
That game should have been 100. That game should have been 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
59 points was so generous.
Yeah, it was very generous.
And if I see one more early start to a game
Rayner.
where those halfbacks for West Coast go behind a congested situation, try and get a cheap kick, and Darcy Jones and Toby Green and those guys go, I might just do the old traditional front and square here because it seemed to have worked for 100 years, and then put pressure. Oh.
How good's Darcy Jones?
Okay, here's one. I know there's a bit of recency bias here, but is Brodie Grundy right now in the frame for the All-Australian ruck?
It's recency bias because his start
Said
to
it
the
last
year was
week.
absolute pure dog shit, and he's had a great.
But I don't think anyone else has blown you away.
Which ruckman has had a good? There's no ruckman has had a good 10-week patch.
I would say Sherry's had the most consistent season. I'd say Gawn's had the biggest peak.
Yeah, but they're peak. Like Sherry hasn't done anything for 5 weeks. He was good on the weekend, but he still didn't beat up English.
So let's say there's one All-Australian
English
ruckman.
is
Go,
probably
pick your spot.
Well, it'll be Gawn because they would keep giving it to him.
It's Gawn for me.
Yeah, but it's the numbers. So I did some comparison between Gawn and Grundy. So Gawn has him in pretty much every measure in the air, except for hit-outs to advantage. Grundy's on top of him there. But the tackle, like, Grundy's had twice as many tackles, like twice as many around-the-ground touches. So Gawn's the best in the air. Grundy's the best once it's on the deck at the moment.
Well, and what about yesterday after the game? He was like, interviewed. He said, I thought it was okay, battle, da-da-da. He had 12 clearances himself.
Yeah.
As I said last week, Grundy is coming home. If Grundy finishes the way he has gone the last 6 weeks, he'll get it.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I think this is the best patch a ruckman has had.
So, but they would have had it. The way they do the meetings.
They start at the
So at that first meeting, his name wouldn't have even been mentioned.
No, but Sherry and Gawn.
But maybe not even at the second meeting. And then it would have been a third meeting where they're going, hey, Grundy's been pretty good.
Yeah.
So they have to take into account the first and the second meetings because it's not just who's been
but then
playing
if
well
you
for a
do
month.
that, then you have to take into consideration the second and third and fourth meetings where Gawn, Sherry, and those guys have fallen off a cliff.
But
history tells you
they've just been fine.
History tells you
They're
that
not
it's
the
the late
worst players
season
in
stuff is going to get it done. You're better to be good in the second half of the season
Absolutely.
than good in the first half.
There is some recency bias with it.
Correct.
But I'm just saying they can't just ignore the first half of the season. It's a whole season award. Is that the
I hope they
siren?
do the.
Is that the siren?
Was there a siren?
We are going over
I hope
on
they
everything.
do the behind the scenes thing because then you see like.
Yeah, but that's
particularly-
bullshit. Nah, they edit that so thoroughly.
Yeah, but I think
show the whole thing.
Call
This
them
is
out,
what I
Ryan.
think-
I want to see it raw.
I think this is the parts they leave in where you still cringe at. You're like, oh god, that was their best moment. What are you on the panel?
I want to see the whole lot. I want
raw. Live stream.
16 hours of unedited vision.
Just the whole meeting.
I'll sit down over a weekend and watch the whole bloody thing. I'm up for it.
I must agree because we watch a lot of footy.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure a lot of those guys watch
Me
as
neither.
much footy as needs to
I
be.
There
watched.
should be.
Look, I can't tell you who because it was. But going back a while, I had a conversation with someone who was on an All-Australian committee
Yeah.
and they did not know what position the player was playing.
Rhymes
that
with.
season. No, I can't do it.
Rhymes.
Can't do it.
But even the talk like Bontempelli and
That they literally had no idea with this person
Bont
was
and Gawn
playing
and
their
those
football.
guys, who are stars. You got to start from zero to be the All-Australian team.
Yeah, no, that's not how it works.
Okay.
Anyway,
They should have fan voted positions.
I reckon there's going to be like 11 first timers this year, by the way. I want to do my team soon.
Really?
All right.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's go to Geelong. Max Holmes again collects 3 Brownlow votes. They won that. Should have been by 100.
Yeah, what was it?
Jeremy Cameron, it was 72. Jeremy Cameron should have kicked 10 and skipped into the Coleman like you wouldn't believe, run
He was
away.
just giving them off at the end.
But they kicked 4 goals, 5 too,
Yeah.
and shanked a few. Bailey Smith tick, Geelong tick, home ground. Richmond, they're going to do that to whoever's that sort of shitty team for the rest of the year. Bailey Smith are laid out.
Yeah, illness.
Again.
Are we?
Does it pass the sniff test? Is that what you're saying?
I'm
What, is he
not
saying-
using that term, but no, like I found it really surprising he came to WA that night to play
Yes.
West Coast where they were
Yeah.
always going to belt him up.
Yeah.
Then he missed the next week, then the bye, then missed.
Yep.
And then missed. Well, back in and then missed, whatever
He's
it is.
in and out the whole
In and out. Bailey Smith,
Had the
is he
bonfire.
sore as a boil or what's going on? Or is he just crook?
Or is it just
I think
like Bailey Smith?
Let's just have a bit of time.
We've talked about how different he is now.
Well, the CEO turning up to your house and stuff. Like,
He
this
is a
is a
unique-
player outside the usual circle.
If I was going to put my tinfoil hat on, I would say, was there a conversation that night to say, how are you going, Bailey? And he's going,
Yeah.
you know what? It's a lot for me. So maybe every now and then I don't play. And
Well,
they're
let me-
like, okay, well, we'll pick some games.
Like to have that
How
conversation
about
at
Richmond? Where,
But a lot of good clubs
Do you
don't have
know?
good players. And that's why I think
Yeah, but-
WA sides need to start cashing in on the Whitfields and the Hogans not coming over.
Well, but
Yeah.
maybe they would have said to Bailey, do you want to miss the no, I've got some mates over there. I'm okay to go over there.
okay.
I don't know. All I'm saying is I reckon Bailey is a unique case.
Yeah.
That COVID time, he spent a lot of time in the Cottesloe area. Maybe he's still got
Did he?
a few contacts to catch up with.
He did, didn't he?
I don't know.
He
Yes,
did,
he
mate.
did.
Every time you drove past, you would see this weird pack going up and down the sidewalks, and then you'd look, and Bailey Smith was in the middle of it.
Yeah,
And it was
right.
just all young women in bikinis.
Nick. Come on,
Now,
Nick.
what the hell's going on there? And then you see
Come on.
Bailey
no,
Smith.
No,
And there's Nick with the binoculars in the
I know,
bush.
hello.
like-
He's got a partner and everything, I think.
Oh, does he?
What are you doing in
call our
Cottesloe?
Jets there.
I just stroll through. Oh, that was, I think the kids were young then, and I'd drive up and down that to get them to sleep. Up and down that strip.
Yeah, get him to sleep. You're into perving. That's
What are you
were
talking
doing.
about, mate?
It's just-
Eyes on the road.
Brisbane. Geez, I didn't want to talk about Brisbane because I found that pretty boring. Hey, quickly, Zach Bailey, barometer. Yeah.
Yeah.
I read the story the other day about Danaher and Sydney's interest and other clubs starting to circle Joe Danaher. Could they get him to come back?
Oh, it's out of retirement.
Yeah.
Mate, you've double tin-foiled us.
I'm really tin-foiling today. I told you, it gave me shit teams. I'm going to start going. I'm going off the grid.
Soon you'll have Bailey Smith in Sydney and Bondi.
Are Brisbane in their rights to be pissed if Joe Danaher comes back and plays for somebody else?
Oh, who did this recently? No, was it a Mal Michael I'm thinking back to? Retired and then
someone
popped
has
somewhere
done
else.
that, stepped away and then gone,
Oh, actually, I'm okay.
It wasn't the Mal Michael who did the Essendon?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, but
There's
there's
a more
someone else.
recent one.
Yeah, you're right. There is a more recent
More
one.
recent one. Who is it?
I can't remember.
Retired from the shit.
Liam Jones had a year off at the Doggies and then went back
That's
to
different.
Yeah, but they
the
drafted
Carlton,
him back
sorry,
in.
then went back
Yeah.
to the Doggies.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I can't remember.
Was it a coach? Damien Hardwick are we thinking of?
Uh,
I'm retired from coaching. Oh, I'm
Might
coaching the
be
Suns
Dimmer.
now.
Maybe it
Might
is
be
Dimmer.
Dimmer I'm thinking
Yeah,
of.
maybe it is
Might
Dimmer.
be Dimmer.
I'm retired. I've had enough of coaching. Oh, by the way.
Yeah.
On the Gold Coast on Big
well,
Point.
anyway, should they be pissed? I feel like they should be a little pissed.
So who's this talking?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about it.
Suggestion is that Sydney will ask the question or have asked the question.
Would you rather get?
I don't know if they
Would
have
you
or not.
rather get no TV Joe or Jamara?
Ooh.
That's all.
Can I get both?
Yeah.
Do you want both?
Yep.
What's
Okay,
sort
you can only have one then.
Is Joe been training?
Joe's been sitting in the sand dunes in
taking a bit of ayahuasca
in
going on
Byron,
mental
Byron
training.
Bay.
So he's relaxed.
Very relaxed.
He's rested.
He's chilled right out.
What,
He's more in touch with himself
been
than ever.
training.
Well, also,
he's done some boxing videos.
yeah.
Look, I'm probably taking the chance on Jamara
Yeah.
because of the length of time I
Yeah.
can get. Joe feels
What
like
do you expect for Joe?
like a 2-year hit,
Yeah.
but I do feel like it's their
Is
weak
Joe,
spot.
is Joe a Tom Lynch 2-year hit?
Do you mean he's where Tom Lynch is now?
No, like, so that
you bring
key
in a-
forward that gets old, the athletic centre half back can keep up easier.
Top 15-ish key
No,
forward
give
coming
me,
through.
in
I
that
think.
scenario, give me Jamara.
Yeah, okay.
It's pretty obvious, but it's still it's a bigger risk, I think.
Yeah.
Nicholas?
Oh, well, let's throw Richmond up the order. I don't have a huge amount on Richmond, but there is again, that sort of stacking your kids. Josh Gibcus, the forgotten man, made his return on the weekend in the VFL.
Saw that.
Yeah. Yes.
Played well.
Yeah.
So I didn't realise how long he'd been out. It's 15 months since he played a game,
Yeah, but even then, he
and even before that,
came back for 5 minutes.
so he came back from a really bad hammy,
Yeah.
came back and then did his
He's a
ACL
top 10
immediately.
pick for them.
Top 10, yeah.
First round of top 10.
Yeah. And really performed well straight into the league as a key defender. Which
So
is
if you're
rare.
going to have him and Trainer
yes,
together,
that's very nice.
and Noah
If I-
Bolter at some point, depending on what happens.
Noel Bolter in the afternoons.
Yeah,
Noel Bolter between the hours
Yeah,
of
yeah,
12
yeah,
and
yeah.
6 p.m.
that's you've got some keys
Again,
there that
it's
you're
a-
excited
yeah,
about.
and it's a long way off. And then obviously the flattening on the weekend of Sammy Layla doing his hammy.
Lawler,
Lawler? Who's Layla?
not
I think
him.
they're all Lawlers,
It's not
probably.
him. It's Lawler.
It's that flattening moment of him doing his hammy.
I was
but
at the pub and they
like,
said, that's ridiculous that he was playing. But if he's passed all the tests.
And they gave him an extra week.
I think Kane came out and said something. Well, the pub, they said, I shouldn't have been playing. But I'm like, he's a number one draft pick.
He wants to play.
He's done a hamstring. It's not like he's coming off an ACL.
Did the guys at the pub want to see the injury again, or did they?
No, there's not a graphic one. That's not graphic.
All right. It was a mechanism that can't be trained, apparently.
That's a weird, just weird language sometimes.
It was a weird language, wasn't it?
What is it?
So it's like, basically, we can't guarantee this won't happen again. We're told basically it's just put him out there, see what happens. And then guess what? It went again. I can't see him playing again for the rest of the year.
No, he's done now.
But he's like all their bodies lined up, these young players. His is different because he's got that power that we love. Yeah. So he's going to have to spend more time in the shop getting that body ready than some other kids who are just tall and lean and they can just run all day. Like it's a different type of athlete.
And I think they'll get another. Was that Taj Houghton who's been killing it at the VFL?
Yeah. Jaden Short went mad in the VFL because I thought he was going to play this week and he didn't.
Well, you think he will now?
Well, he was like 35 touches and 15 marks.
But again, they're at that point of the year. Like, was the old Matt DeBoer at Fremantle?
No,
Jaden
900. No, Jaden Short.
He's a different player.
He's 28. He, unless you're trading him.
Maybe.
Oh.
Fatting the cow.
I mean, Sam Banks has looked bloody good. My man, Sam Banks, who no one even knew his name when I was bringing him up.
This is the thing with Richmond. Like, it's all happening. It's all going well. I just don't want to watch those games.
Yeah.
Let's go to North Melbourne. They tried hard.
Yeah.
Never Again North, the line got out to 52.5. So I took Never Again North at the line, and my Lord, was I twitchy once the margin got out to 50. 49 points there in the end. Thank you very much, Never Again North. Hey.
So what was the line again?
50, you got out to 52.5.
Yeah.
And they won.
So you took it at 52.5?
Yeah, North with a 52.5 head start.
They snuck
Oh,
in.
mate, my arsehole was twitching.
And Darcy's going mad in the last quarter.
Hey, just throwing it out there. North Melbourne, Harry Sheasel, are they letting in outside word infiltrate what they're doing with Harry Sheasel? Again, started half forward first quarter, 0 centre bounce attendances, 1 kick in the first quarter, unsighted.
Without Luke Parker too. Remember we thought that was going to be the shift.
Not involved in the game, and then sure enough, they put him into the midfield and he goes about having 18, 19 disposals in the second, in those next sort of 3 quarters.
Yep.
Does all the centre bounces. I think we're done with this half forward stuff with Harry Sheasel. It's all well and good that when they say, gee whiz, he kicks it nice, so he wouldn't be nice to be going to 50. Well, if he doesn't touch it, you can't kick it, can he?
True.
If he's running around and the ball's just going over his head, you can't kick it. Put him to half back, put him into the midfield, and let him play footy. Plain and simple.
No more half forward. I agree with that.
An extension of the half forward is Zane Dersma. Zane Dersma came back in on the weekend. He didn't do a lot at all, but there was one passage play where he ran through the middle and looked at it, had a bounce.
Yes.
Had a little bit of Finn Callahan about it.
I had to check. I was like, is that Dersma?
Yeah. So Dersma didn't introduce him to the Sharon much at all.
No.
But again, he's playing that role that's impossible to play as a youngster, that half forward. It's too hard.
Yep.
It is. Dylan Moore, Brett Daniels, those guys, they're the ones that can play it. The third or fourth forward, fifth forward, he's near impossible. Young kid. Is it time to let him roam around on a wing and half back and even put him into a centre bounce?
Yes.
And what does it do? This one is now for the under-18 competition. You got Xavier Dersma, who's okay, probably wouldn't get a game in a top 16.
Okay,
he wouldn't play in a top 16. No. Then you got Zane, who was a top 3 draft pick, who I don't think he's had a fair chance at it in a position where it's made easy.
Yep.
And then there's a guy who was called William Dersma, but Rhino rang them and said, no, you can't have any kids named William. That's a unique name. We're the only ones with a William. So they've gone, all right, we'll call him Willem then. So I'm hearing this William Dersma is unbelievable.
He's very good.
Unbelievable.
Okay, so what's your question though? Are you concerned?
Do you have a little itch in the back of your mind about the other 2 brothers?
I was going to say this, but I thought, was that fair?
Oh shit! Now am I fair? So I think I don't follow it enough.
No, but you're right. Like I thought the same thing. I was like, we've now seen 2 Dersmas be meh.
A lot of hype.
Zane, we haven't had a good enough look at yet.
No, but
Xavier started well.
We don't have much evidence. And so are we thinking that the next Dersma is going to be the same? Or is he better?
My people on the inside say he's far better.
Tall inside.
Okay. Far better.
Inside mid.
Outside as well. Does it all. He might have been compared to a player who is...
Bontempelli?
Maybe something along those lines.
Similar frame.
Jesus.
He's a similar frame. In the middle. The worry is always that they just big at under
do they
level.
fill out? Because the other Dersmas haven't really.
So I didn't really want to talk about the position of Dersman being
So it's
drafted.
gonna be the box.
I'm more just
So
wanting
Willem
to do the William.
Willem Dersma is the next Bond.
The only reason.
Well, we did. It's funny
William
you say
Ders
that.
was he's unbelievable.
No,
apparently.
we did a on the rub. We did a off the back of the Cozzy Pickett thing. It was like pick 3 players each. Each of the guys had to go around and pick their 3. We did a draft. Who would you feel comfortable giving that contract to? The 10-year, 1.4, whatever it is. And Stevie J is always a bit unorthodox, but his third player was Willem Dersma.
Not even in the comp.
No.
Do you see that Stevie
like,
J?
That's a curveball.
It got a curveball laugh.
I love that. Stevie J
but
trying to
he's-
pay for a beer with his Norm.
Yes, apparently he's actually Chappie's Norm.
Oh, really?
Chappie brought his, because they were doing a sportsman's night, Chappie brought his Norm to show the crowd. So then Stevie was using Chappie's Norm to try and pay for drinks.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very good.
Port Adelaide, shattering about Sam Powell-Pepper.
Poor bugger. And
That's
his
too-
reaction after shoving the doctors away, he just showed it's their livelihood done for 12
Do you know
months.
what? And
Done.
this kid,
For a player on the
did
always
you have
on
a
the
bit
edge.
to do with Sam Powell-Pepper
Had
on
a
the way
bit to do with
through?
Sam, yeah.
So he's an amazing story. So he came from a really difficult background, moved around a heap, ended up spending a lot of time with his grandma. She kind of made sure he stayed on the straight and narrow, got him to training, all that stuff. He was like a potential number 1 pick that sort of regressed a bit in his draft year and ended up being...
He was more of a bull inside than a neat
and I think
player.
people started to think this is what he is and he'll always be that. And that's kind of what's happened, right?
But he's
that's-
just done it in the forward half, not through the midfield.
Yeah, but...
Remember his first year too? His first year was unbelievable. He was on like big back page thing in
that's
the Adelaide
right.
Advertiser.
But looking at his life, and I don't know him now, but I like following him on Instagram and stuff, and he's a family man. He's put a lot
Just
of
had a
work
kid
into
during the week.
second
Yeah.
kid, and I'm just so happy for how his life has turned out. But this part is so shit.
I think Travis Boak played a huge part.
He did. He moved in with Travis Boak. That's right. So, and Travis Boak is my next question. If you're Josh Carr, are you wanting Travis Boak to be there next year as a coach on the ground, or are you tapping him on the shoulder and going, mate, I love you, but do you want to join the staff? Do you want to come and join the coaching staff? Because I don't need you out there. Because he was pretty good on the
I think
weekend.
it's more option B than A.
You think so?
Port Adelaide are in the similar spot as Melbourne and those clubs we were talking about.
They got to get moving.
Yeah.
But
they've got
the difference with them is
22-year-old
they've got
assets.
3
Yeah.
studs in the right age.
Yeah, so
For
Rosie, Butters, Horn Francis, who?
Georgiades.
Oh, and Georgia. So,
So
they've got the 4 building blocks that Melbourne don't have yet.
No, so I'm not. They're not. That's not a premiership list.
No.
So they need to get moving.
No.
They need to find. They need to find more.
But they need
kids.
to do more of like a Sydney rebuild on the run kind of thing because they've got that core.
They've got some stuff.
They can't bottom out now.
No, they can't
Otherwise you
bottom
lose.
out.
It's gonna
be impossible, but they won't
they
be
still
able
need
to-
to find 18-year-old kids that become
Oh, yeah,
200
that
game
too.
players.
But they
Keep
won't be
your
able
tops.
to bottom out. With
No, but
Butters
they
and
need
Rosie.
to find kids.
Yeah, you need to bring something.
Lukosius, 3 goals.
Yeah, here he is.
Something.
Well,
Did you get on that,
5.
did you? What'd you get on for?
No, last time I had an interest on the coaches, you'll subbed out after 2 minutes.
I only
a
bet on
knee.
him in Darwin games, mate.
Yeah.
St Kilda. So again, game is what it is when it's a St Kilda game. Isaiah Wanganeen-Miller
Oof.
is just the. I did a bit of an exercise with like who would be across the season so far. Who are the 5 best? And this is so not counting the guys who missed 10 weeks or long stretches.
Who's owned the season?
I think he's right in that conversation.
Bailey
right?
Smith,
Yes.
Nick Dacos, Sam Darcy.
Sam Darcy.
I think Wanganeen
Well, no, but
Miller
Sam
is,
Darcy. I think Sam Darcy missed too much, so I
he's-
had to pull him.
But the whole story of it, Sam Darcy.
Yeah, but no,
I think is-
from a story perspective,
Yeah.
from a best players this
All right,
year,
who have you got?
That's why I've said Nick Dacos for the Brownlow
I put
earlier.
Hugh McCluggage in there.
I'm not sitting there.
Ed Richards.
they're not
Yeah,
headline- they're not
Ed
headlines.
Richards has had more score involvements than anyone.
I
in the
think you're
competition.
doing. I think you're doing a different list to what we're doing.
Yeah.
Well, if you talk about players of the year, who you remember the year for, it's those guys.
Yeah.
But if you're like who produced the best football consistently throughout the year, I think those guys are in the conversation.
Yeah, I would say McCluggage has been wildly consistent.
Yeah, but a kid like top end consistent.
Yeah, no, he's been very good.
And Ed Richards the same. So it was
Has
and
Ed
Jeremy
Richards
Cameron
slowed a little
probably as
bit?
well. Ed Richards, well, he's just taking a bit of a step back when
Slightly.
Montebello
I say
accepted
as he slowed a little bit, he's still averaging about
Yeah.
27 in his slowed period.
Correct. This is what I think he's probably like. He's right in that mix.
Did you just quickly before you go? Did you hear Sam Mitchell talk about Isaiah Wanganeen?
Yeah. We scouted him.
Should we insert? Can we insert that bit by Sam Mitchell? Is that possible?
Yeah.
Just wherever he is, even when he's on the bench, I was worried about him by the end. I knew, you know what? Not watching him before tonight, I knew he was a really good player, but I didn't like. We tagged him with 3 or 4 different players in 3 or 4 different positions, and he was just too good. Whether he was winning it contested or uncontested, he's a star.
It was incredible. And
43,
the honesty of Sam Mitchell after the game, I love that from coaches.
Yeah.
We tried everything.
Yep.
It's not like he turned up naively and went like, who's the blokes? We tagged him with 4 different players.
Wow.
And could not get a result.
Do you see Ross saying he's trying to turn him into Andrew McLeod 2.0?
Jeez, I reckon he's a beast freckle from Andrew McLeod
Yeah,
already.
yeah.
Not far off.
Yeah.
McLeod did it on
Some
the
of those
big
kids-
stage.
Yeah, of course.
Jeez,
But, yeah.
McLeod was a good player. Did you cross over with him at
I
all?
did.
Just.
I played in 07, Adelaide in Adelaide, and there was like 4 young kids, and one of us had Rashudo, one of us had McLeod, one of us had Edwards, and the other one had
Who'd you have?
Burton. I had Rashudo for a while.
You would have been half his size.
Yeah. I think I need to probably do some research on this. I hope I'm not talking my ass. I think Rue might have kicked 4 or 5. I think Edwards might have had 45. I think McLeod might have had 35. And I reckon Burton might have kicked a handful too. I think we got our pants pulled down.
Birdman.
Oh, just
Birdman.
if I was Ross, I wouldn't be comparing him to Adelaide players either.
Yeah.
It's very easy to send a picture. Look how good McLeod looked in an Adelaide jumper.
I think he looked. I think he compared. I can compare him a lot to a Joey Montana off the half-back line.
You're up.
Yeah, I got West Coast.
Last teams.
West Coast. Their waffle side. I was going to blow them up, but their
Yeah, got that.
Yeah, their
what's
waffle
going on?
side got a very, very, very rare victory over the
Yes,
weekend.
they
They beat
did.
Subiaco by 5
They
goals.
did.
Well done to them. Always kicked 4, Long kicked 3, and that's all well and good, but they cannot return to the side. I've seen enough of them for the year. You can't just keep rewarding these blokes who've had their
I've
chances.
got bad news for you.
They're coming in.
He's just coming
They
back.
can't be back in. They just can't be. They've done nothing all season. But another game, and this is the 100-point losses are gone. I think the weekend could have been 100 points. It was 59.
Yep.
But there's been 8 games this year where at quarter time you could have gone home.
Yep.
They need to cut
Yeah.
them out. I'm happy for the games to get blown late. You know, a bit like the North Melbourne game on the weekend.
Yeah, be in it for
Halfway
3
through the
quarters.
third quarter, there was a goal in it.
Yeah.
And everyone was sitting there going, well, I think the Dogs will win.
Yeah.
But the week before, Collingwood.
Perfect.
But there's been 8 games this year at quarter time. You're like, this is going to be 60 points.
Yeah.
No dramas. And again on the weekend,
And you're asking people to sit through a lot.
you're sitting there, and my little brother texts you saying, mate, do you ever get in trouble for saying this game's over at quarter time? I was like, no, mate, because they are over. Like, it's not like we're sitting on a Friday night watching Carlton, Collingwood, with Carlton on the slide, but then, like, West Coast have been ordinary for 5 years.
Yeah.
That game was done. It was hard to sit through.
I had a big lunch and talked myself into $10 on West Coast, and that was.
Jesus.
I didn't ride that very long.
Yeah, no, the line was 20 points or something like that. That was outrageous.
I'm so annoyed because, everyone got 9 this weekend in the tipping.
Yeah.
I don't know how I did it. I accidentally tipped West Coast, so I got 8. I was so flat. I was like, 9 out of 9. I'll just double check that everyone else got.
Yes.
How did I get 8?
No, you can't have got 8 this week.
So
it's the easiest
filthy.
week ever.
I didn't do it on purpose.
No. But anyway, that's all I've really got is you can't reward the waffle after one win. Keep the kids in.
Did you see Cal Jamison's hanger?
No,
Pretty good.
Good.
Worth a look.
Well, what about like a Tom
Gross.
Gross had 30?
He had 30. Yeah, mate, if he's a kid,
mean,
but I'm not rewarding.
They've only got
mature
3
players,
blokes on their
players.
list who haven't played now.
Yeah, well,
Bring in Luca Grego then.
Grego, Newton, and Livingston. Grego's been close.
how long's Livingston been there?
This will be his second year.
Second year.
Second
He
year.
he rucked the Indigenous All-Stars.
did.
Yeah.
Main
he
ruck.
did.
He was
Okay,
good.
my last
Against
team.
the St Kilda, the Indigenous lad for St Kilda who plays forward, Killer.
Oh, Keeler.
Was that Killer?
He rucked for the Indigenous team, didn't he?
No, Cohen Livingston.
So
rucked for
did
the
Cohen.
Indigenous
Cohen
team.
did.
Oh,
He was
told
the-
me that the
He started at the bounce.
Yeah.
And
Against
then-
Luke Jackson.
yeah, and then the St Kilda lad jumped in.
He
didn't
probably did.
Keeler
He was
might have.
Yeah, I thought he rucked a bit too.
Okay, Gold Coast. Noah Anderson's second half. Oh, God. Do you know he's got 100 fantasy points in the second half?
Yeah, I do. He was
That's
only
who-
on about.
He's on
He was only
22.
22 there
He's
for a
on
long
22.
time.
And then he just went,
That's a-
stuff this, I'm off and racing.
Is that this Friday, Gold Coast, Collingwood? That's
I think that's
fucking
right,
good
yeah.
game.
I don't want to talk about the umpiring stuff with Matt Rowell. I'm over it. Joel Jeffrey, little bit of a tip of the cap. This guy's had a pretty
Yeah.
consistent season. Like, he's one of those guys that we never talk about.
Yeah.
He's just squeezed into that role. On the weekend, he had 32 touches, 10 marks, kicked a goal, 3
Probably
tackles.
that was one of the goals of the year.
Mate, he's a player.
I reckon we speak about him once a year.
Yeah,
Joel
I reckon
Jeffrey.
he's a guy. I
Yeah.
reckon he now is not is Joel in or out this week?
he's
Joel's in.
No, he's in.
Joel's made the note, and he's got that weird body shape where you're like,
Athletic.
he could play anywhere. Look, I love when you have one guy who you can just throw anywhere.
Yeah.
He could put him to
which,
full
which
forward.
could be to his detriment at times.
True.
Because he has
But
a
he's
quiet
pretty
patch
settled
for
down there.
three
Whereas
weeks. And
now
they
he
go,
kind of
yeah.
has found his role. But you could put him at full forward for a quarter, and he might kick you 2 or 3.
He's played 14. He's played 15 games this
Yeah.
season thus far. Then they've played one less, of course, at Gold Coast. So I
Yeah.
don't know what happened there.
So he's
Just
played
one or
every
two.
game.
Yep. And then he finished the season last year. He played the last 12. So he didn't play the first 9 last year. So he's played 25, 20, yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
No, I'm a big fan of his. I like his versatility and his range. And clearly Dimmer likes it.
Did you like how quickly I reacted to some stats?
Very good. Yeah.
Right.
See, synergy.
Two-man.
See?
Fast.
Nick, what are you bringing?
I'm bringing heaps. AI. Where are we up to? Carlton. We spent a lot of time
Can you
talking.
bullet him?
Well,
did I bullet him last week?
I can't remember.
I'll play it. Rinny's done some homework. Get into it, mate.
Go on, do your
So
homework.
It's more like a skim.
Yeah.
We just talk about the two ruck situation at Fremantle a lot, right? Sean Darcy, Luke Jackson. He's taken up a lot of
Have we
time.
covered that, do you think?
I think we've covered that. They got a horrible two ruck situation. Pitnet and Tom DeConey.
So are they doing that? Well, they're doing it because Mackay's out, but are they doing it because they know DeConey is leaving?
But also, don't you then want to inflate his price? Give him more bites of the cherry?
Nah, because at this point, it's
I think the price is what it is already.
price is set.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've
price
taken
is
it.
set.
You go play this, but it's not helping you either.
No, it's not helping him.
Are we not at the point where it's better off for Carlton to lose every game
Yes.
and get their pick lower so that the Tom DeConing free agency compensation is higher?
Yeah, absolutely. So what are they?
So Carlton got their first round of this year.
No.
No,
So they
West Coast could have had it.
No, Hawthorn has it.
Hawthorn has it.
Hawthorn has it.
Because
Yeah,
West Coast chose
Hawthorns.
Hawthorns instead of
Carlton's.
choosing Carlton's.
Hawthorn had Carlton's first pick and
So
their first
I
pick,
have
so which one
I
you
have
want?
Carlton finishing 13th. So we pick 6.
Yeah.
So they would get that.
6 and 7.
Well, yeah, but the 6 is
Which is
gone.
then-
So then they would become 7.
7, but then you
Oh,
got
6
you got
again,
Oscar
sorry.
Allen's compensation in there.
Yes.
You got Draper's- Draper's
so it's going to
compensation
end
in
up
there.
at 11,
You probably got 2
12.
farthest,
But,
2 category picks.
but I've got them only one win ahead of Carlton, Essendon North and Melbourne.
Yeah,
so,
but where did Carlton have themselves at the start of the year?
yeah, but just ease out now. You're done.
Yeah, no, he's out. Don't get me wrong.
They
But
can't, can they?
I don't want to say too much more about Carlton because everything I've said previously has been correct, and I've copped a hammering for it.
Where are those people that came for us?
Yeah, they're not.
Where are they?
They can go and get.
It's funny how quiet they get.
Yeah, and maybe they sit there and go, you know what? I was probably harsh. That couple of comments we made.
Maybe I should reach out to Zave and just
Yeah,
say sorry.
Just say sorry, mate. You'll bang on about Richmond,
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
Collingwood,
Yeah,
about Carlton, about Carlton. Jesus,
He's a Carlton.
I'm too scared to say the word as it is.
Speaking of AI, I just laughed on the weekend. Someone made a big poo in a Carlton jersey singing "We Are the Navy Poos." It just made me laugh more than it should have.
I was going to say, wouldn't have got me giggling.
That's
Oh,
a
you
good
got me
spot.
giggling.
That's
Oh,
a
it
good
was
spot
good.
to end the podcast.
Great areas.
I would have thought.
Oh, is that it? Yeah, we
Yeah,
done.
Yes, that's it.
All right. We are brought to you by Tab Touch. Got the touch? Download the Tab Touch app today. What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. This has been the Hardball Gets AFL show. We'll see you again tomorrow for the mailbag. Catch you then.